Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show, where business, as usual, gets a swift kick in the ass. If you're tired of the same old advice and ready to disrupt the status quo, you're in the right place. I'm cutting through the noise with bold strategies, unfiltered truths, and a no-nonsense approach to entrepreneurship, video marketing, and content creation. Buckle up, because it's time to level up, stand out, and dominate your market. This isn't just another podcast, it's a wake-up call for entrepreneurs and would-be aspiring solopreneurs who are all in. Let's get started. Ever finish a project and think, what the fuck did I just do? Why did I take this on? Look, I've been there. You say yes because you need the cash. You say yes because they seem nice. You say yes because you feel bad saying no. But here's the raw truth. Every yes to the wrong client is a no to your growth, your energy, and ultimately your best work. In this episode, I'm breaking down the hidden cost of taking on bad fit clients, how to spot the red flags before they bleed you dry, and how to build a business that attracts the right people. I am way too guilty of this, of sometimes just saying yes to people and projects that I should never have said yes to, only to come to regret it. Only to come to realize that wasn't profitable, that was painful, that was not a fit. It's hard to say no. You don't want to be an asshole. Well, sometimes you say yes because of different circumstances, right? Maybe you need the money. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe you have a gut feeling that you just ignore. Let me take you back to a time where I was desperate for money. This is early on. I had no consistent income yet. I had a little bit of fear creeping in, a little bit of doubt, I'm not going to lie. And then, boom, an inquiry kind of hits my inbox. At first glance, I thought, hey, this is a decent lead, right? They said all the right things. They complimented my work. They acted like they respected my time. And then, red flags. You know, I have the conversation and my consultation. They wanted a bit of a discount right off the hop. They expected response times, which were really, really aggressive. They continued to ask to hop on another call, even after all these other emails and back and forth. They didn't know what they wanted. They just feel like they wanted a lot of stuff. And because at the time I said yes, I felt like I had to say yes because of a bit of a relationship, you know, having done some work kind of in the sphere of influence of this person before. I also felt like I needed the money at the time. So I said yes. And guess what? The project turned into a nightmare. Delayed payments, vague feedback, multiple rounds of kind of revisions, getting ghosted partway, having really annoying communication styles between emails, calls, texts, thinking that I'm the only client basically, right? And that's the hard part, is also, you know, having a client that's just culturally is not a fit. And continuing to ask for more and more and more. And I've kind of realized, and at the time of this recording, I'm still dealing with this. So this is going to feel raw, but at least by the time this episode gets released, it's way after the fact. So the person hearing this will not know it's them. I basically got the wrong client, right? And I should have said no to this deal from the get-go. It's ridiculous what I'm kind of doing here. Spending a lot of time on something that's not profitable. I even said to them partway through, I said, look, what I'm doing here for you, I don't normally do. And I actually realized I was losing money. And I should have just shut it down, but I didn't. And every time I'm interacting and doing some of this work, I feel like I lose energy. I lose a little bit of confidence in myself. I definitely lose time that could have been spent towards better, more profitable opportunities. And this client/job that I'm doing, it costs me way more overall, just in general, to fulfill than I probably realized, because I let it get out of control. The scope creep's unreal. Like, a bad client is more expensive than no client. But unfortunately, at least at the time of this recording, I didn't realize it. I had a slow month. Okay, I had a slow month. I would say at the time of this recording, say 6 months ago, I had a really slow month. I was really, really good. I was clipping along, it was great. Then I had a slow one, and this client came through, and I'm like, you know what? I thought they were going to book within a couple of weeks. Like like we'll do the session, it should be good. Well, it stretched out over a long period of time, and the more time's gone on, the more frustrating this project has gotten. And I said yes when I knew deep down I should say no. There's so many reasons why a bad fit client costs you a lot. It's not just annoying emails, it's not just late payments, it's not just ghosting. But when you work with the wrong people, I think you, one, erode your boundaries. You know how it starts, of course, right? Okay, just this one time, can you do this? Or, sure, I can throw that in for you here. I normally charge extra, but, dot. I started finding like I was saying those lines. And before you know it, I found myself not working on my terms, I was working on theirs. And every boundary that I was bending makes it harder and harder to enforce the next time. The problem, and I've seen this, and I'm trying to make sure I'm stopping it now, you sometimes attract more of the same. A bad client who generally is feeling like they're getting to have their way with you sometimes refers other bad clients to you who are not a fit. Like, I don't want to paint everybody the same, but like, let's call them discount chasers. They hang out with discount chasers. Micromanagers, they know other control freaks. You don't want to build a business where you're supporting nothing but energy vampires. I'm not saying I'm doing that now, but that's something that I'm being very cognizant of now moving forward. Because I don't want to become a magnet for clients that I don't want. You know what I mean? I don't think you do either. This is where I get really, I'd say, disappointed in myself throughout this whole process. Again, I picked a couple of the wrong clients to work with. And these are more one-off jobs. They're not retainer kind of clients either, right? But like, they're jobs that can be stretching out. I had a stretch where I did, I'd say 3 or 4 of the wrong types of clients just to get the money. The problem is your good clients also feel the impact. I had a couple nightmare ones a few months back, and it meant that the work that I was doing for them delayed other work that needed to happen. Well, because the delays were happening, I had to hire another editor on a contract basis to help. But because that other editor was not used to the work that I do, there were some quality issues. Well, some of those quality issues then start causing issues then with some of the real good clients that I have too. So now I'm balancing, I'm delivering work for people that probably don't appreciate it and are not a good fit with me anyways from a variety of different perspectives. I've now taken on more costs to make sure I'm fulfilling my existing good clients. The quality is slipping. I'm then hearing about it. I found that over a stretch of 2 months in particular, the decision to have one bad client, which then led to a couple other bad clients, led to some of my good clients actually giving feedback that they were not feeling it so good and struggling. I don't want to have projects that get delayed. I hate that. Speed's one of my core values. I also don't want to show up half present, which I felt like I did. I don't want to miss certain details, or maybe the people that I've hired to bring on start missing certain details. And then you start to resent everything. And it's a slippery slope. All because brought on the wrong client. And so while you are trying to deal with all this shit, that's what it is. It is shit. Your growth gets limited, right? Because you're dealing with scope creep. You're spending time on stuff that you probably shouldn't do. You're chasing payments. I found like I'm still playing catch up, chasing, stuff to happen. There's also emotional drain. And so as a result, I'm not pitching better clients. I'm not creating content for myself. I'm not building the systems. I'm not investing in myself. You can't grow when you're stuck managing chaos. And at the time of recording this, I'm hopefully on the other side of it, but I'm having this conversation now, is like, I can't grow because I'm stuck managing all the chaos because of some poor decisions of letting the wrong person or the wrong couple people actually through. So how do you stop it, right? Like, how do you stop attracting shitty clients? How do you flip the switch and start working with people who actually respect what you do? So part of what I realized was this was all my fault. First off, I just want to start with that. I didn't have clarity on who I don't want. And so I needed to get crystal clear on that. I needed to write it down. And I mean it, like write it down. I had to list the non-negotiables. Like, what's the budget minimum? How do I qualify who I work with now moving forward? Are there certain industry red flags? You know, I try to be industry agnostic, but maybe there's certain ones that are just, it's not a fit. Is there certain personality types where I can just tell as I meet somebody that's not a fit? Is there a good vibe between us? If they hit one of these aforementioned criteria, is it a no? Maybe. Maybe it should be. What's really hard, though, is to say no. And to say it without guilt. But you got to build it. Just like building a muscle. You got to learn to say things like, I'm not the right fit for this. This isn't aligned with how I work best. Or a little bit maybe of a lie, maybe, depending on what you're trying to do. Thanks for reaching out, but right now I'm fully booked, and I'm looking like it'll be a couple of months before I'm available, and maybe by that time they'll move on. But practice saying no. You'll get better at it. And hopefully richer as a result of saying no more often too. And this is something that I really know that I still need to figure out, but I got to pre-qualify people. I got to pre-qualify like a pro. I've reached out to a couple people. I've kind of gone through a little bit of, again, this introspective look on everything, and I've seen that people who are in a similar space to me, mostly in the States, because I can't find anybody in Canada doing exactly what I'm doing, that they pre-qualify, right? They're using a form, their site, a little bit of their pitch as a way to filter out the wrong people. So I see it now more common with some people. They're using intake forms, right? Like, fill out a form, answer these questions, give me the answers to these questions, and that's going to determine whether, you know, we're a good fit or not. So I have changed my form, or I should say added a form to Calendly so that people just can't book willy-nilly. It does ask them some pre-qualifying questions, and, you know, I only changed it a couple of days ago, so we'll see what kind of results happens from it. I've started to list minimum pricing now as well, and be more specific on the pricing. I actually raised my prices, which, you know, I got to figure out if I've raised it too much or not, because it seems like it's gotten a little quiet, but I don't know if that's the real reason. I've also added FAQ pages to my website pages on my offers across the board. Part of the reason why I did that is to, one, pre-qualify. Two, and this is a little of a tidbit for anyone who's listened this far, it's going to help, I think, overall from an AI perspective. The more AI starts to scrape your site, starts to see that structured content, it's going to start to hopefully show up in results for you too. And then I'm being really, really clear on timelines and terms. So contracts are really citing, this is how we're operating now moving forward. I think when you have good clients, though, they respect clarity. And the bad ones, they'll run from it. And if they run from it, okay, that's fine. They're not a good fit for you. At the end of the day, you got to build a brand that attracts the right people. Post like the person you want to work with is ultimately watching you. So use your content to educate, to draw lines, to show the process, to share testimonials, to really flex your standards. Let your brand do the filtering, right? Get rid of the clients that aren't probably best suited to work with you. You know, repel them somehow. I think it's really hard if you say yes to everything. And again, we're guilty of it. Like, again, I went through a slow period. I started saying yes to things. I even said to my wife, I said, oh, I just sold somebody. And the next day I sold another person. And the next day after that, so 3 days in a row, we sold, you know, a couple $1,000s worth of packages to 3 specific clients over the span of 3 days. And I thought, I am rocking and rolling. They were such easy sales. But that should have been the red flag. When it's that easy, there's maybe a challenge. There's a problem there. Saying yes to every client isn't noble. It's expensive. It costs you energy and time and boundaries and growth. And maybe a little bit of respect. But you can change that. Start saying no. Start filtering hard. And start treating your brand, your business, like the premium offer that it really is and deserves to be. You don't maybe need more leads. Maybe you just need better ones. This is, again, the Chris Hanna Show. If this episode maybe punched you in the gut, maybe it related to you a little bit, I'm glad. It was meant to, hopefully, connect with some of you. Send it to somebody who maybe has been saying yes to the wrong people for too damn long. Because you want to build a business that ultimately you don't resent. We'll see you in the next one. All right, that's a wrap for today's dose of reality on the Chris Hanna Show. If you're fired up and ready to kick some serious ass, then I've done my job. But remember, knowledge without action is just wasted breath. So what are you going to do? Sit around and let opportunities pass you by? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? The choice is yours, but don't expect sympathy if you choose the easy road. If you've got value from today's episode, smash that subscribe button, leave a review, or share it with somebody who needs a wake-up call. Don't keep this gold to yourself unless you're afraid of a little competition. Stay bold, stay hungry, and remember, always go all in. Until next time, this is Chris Hanna signing off. Now go out there and take what's yours.